Never do a video standing up, so this is really awkward. But we just gonna roll with it because change and growth, right? So what I really wanted to talk to you guys about today is writing. So I said I was gonna do more videos about writing, my craft, screenwriting, books, all of that stuff. So I'm delivering on that promise. Now I'm not delivering on the promise of creating more videos because I'm trying, but I'm delivering today. So I really wanted to get into self-publishing a little bit and my feelings about self-publishing, or maybe I should say my problem with self-publishing. And I know y'all who know me are probably like, what? That's what you do. That's what you help people do. Right. But everybody doesn't go through me. Everybody doesn't go through anybody. They just do shit. So I wanted to make a video that was all about my problems with self-publishing. So I tried to narrow it down to like a few things. I don't have an odd number. Odd numbers are cute, but I only ended up with 4 because I don't want to be repetitious. But we're going to go ahead and get into them. So, number 1, people not respecting the craft. I cannot stand when people don't respect the craft. Like, how can you just put something out there and not really respect what you're doing? That is like my biggest pet peeve when it comes to self-publishing. Now, usually with traditional publishing, you go through like a checks and balance system. If your book is not good, it's not going to get picked up anyway. Self-publishing allows people to put out mediocre ass work. And that bothers me because this is something I truly, truly love, okay? So people just putting stuff out there just for the sake of it is really annoying. And it's like, why? What is your why? Why did you put out this book? If you want to share your story, that's cool. I'm not saying your story is not valid. Share your story. But also respect the craft. Don't just be like, you know what? This person put out a book and we had a similar situation, so I'm going to put out a book too. I think that's just real whack, and we're too old for that. The other thing is everybody is doing it. Like, so just because everybody is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it, which is basically what I just said. But anyway, number 2. Number 2, people not wanting to do the work, right? People not putting forth the effort. Y'all, the people outside are just going to cut the grass right by my window. Okay, we're back. So, again, number 2, people not putting forth the real effort, okay? My thing is, why half-ass something when you can whole-ass it? Like, that's just my motto. Why would you do something like that? This is something that is going to outlive you. So why would you put a book out there into the world that's just going to be like trash? Ain't nobody got time for that. So that's my second pet peeve. It's like people not putting forth their effort. Like, I've seen books that look like pamphlets. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I understand that there's no specific page number, but there is a such thing as industry standard. And when it comes down to industry standard, you need to try to follow that shit as closely as possible. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you have really short books that are really good. I get that. But usually, and I'm not going to even say usually, but when you talk about self-publishing, you want to show yourself. You want to prove that you got the juice. So putting out a pamphlet is not really proving that you got the juice. Unless you have 10 pages of amazingness, which, come on now, 10 pages, then don't do it. Now, if you write a children's book, that's something else. But you should definitely research the industry standard for what it is that you're about to put out. If you're writing a self-help book, yes, there's, again, no standard. If you're writing any type of book, well, no, I'll take that back. If you're writing a self-help book, per se, there is no real standard. You kind of keep going until you run out. But when you're writing novels, when you're writing memoirs, when you're writing, like, anything, like, you really just need to do your research and see what is the industry standard. And again, try to follow that as closely as possible. There are standard word / page counts when it comes to this stuff. Look that up. And then when it comes down to the pamphlets, really it's just about you being lazy. A lot of people take on the task of writing a book and they don't really ask themselves, can I carry this through? They don't do the research like I just mentioned, and then they don't sit down with themselves and like, can I carry this through? Can I get there to the finish? You know, so people are just really lazy. It's like they may start off really, really good. Then you get to the end and it's like, then, like how? And then you charge like $15, $20 for your freaking book. Like how? Don't do that. I know me personally. There's a book on my shelf right now. Actually, it's not on my shelf. It's in a stack on the floor in my bedroom. But there's a book that I own that I paid $20 for. Actually, $20 and some change because of tax and all that stuff and shipping. But I paid $20 for this book. It's this. Let me see. It's about this thick. This thick. This small. I hope y'all can see that. This small. And then it has like a whole bunch of quotes and it just wasn't for me. Now, maybe for somebody else, that book would have been like so great. But for me, it was like the bare minimum. And so maybe, just maybe, I wasn't her target audience. That is a factor too. But all in all, I felt cheated for my $20. In my book club, they felt cheated too, because it just was no substance really in the book. It was just like a guide on how to live a better life. And that's cute, but a lot of stuff she talked about, your girl was already hip to. So, moving on. Number 3. People not hiring people to help them. You cannot do it all. How, Sway? You can't. You can't sit up here and write your book, edit your book, proofread your book, do your cover design, what else? Market your book, what else? I can't even think of everything, but you can't do it all. You cannot sit up here and just do, first of all, you can't do it all. And if you can, you shouldn't do it all. Why? Because you're too close to the book. That's your baby. You're not going to see shit wrong with it. It's your baby. But when you really hire somebody else and it's their job to tear your shit up, they gonna make sure that book is on point. I know with my clients, I'm always like, yo, you need to go back and add some more here, or you need to go back, just throw that whole thing away. Like, I'm good for telling people, throw something away, because everything is not great, and you want to be great. Now, a lot of times, people don't want to take my advice, or they're feeling real sensitive about their work, but you hire people to help you. That is your extra set of eyes. I had a personal situation where I had beta readers read my book, go through for context and everything, and it was all kind of typos in it. And I was like, damn, I didn't even see that. That wouldn't have happened had I not hired, well, actually I didn't hire them, but had I not had them to look at the book. So it's important to get somebody else to look at your book. Hire an editor. If you don't do cover design, don't do cover design. Like, just because it's possible don't mean you should do it. Hire people to help you to make your book the best book out there, okay? A lot of times with self-publishing, I see some mediocre ass book covers. And I'm gonna just be real clear. I don't do book covers. I hire people for that. I have a team. I have someone who specifically does my book covers. And that's so I can focus on my writing, the context, and so forth and so on, okay? Hiring people helps you not to make those unnecessary mistakes. Okay, now, of course, I'm not saying that everything's going to be 100% grand. That's just, come on. But if you can omit some things, omit them. And people, shop around. If something's not in your budget, shop around. But maybe you should first create a budget and see what is, standard when it comes to that kind of stuff. Okay? And another thing is, if you don't put out your best work and you plan to, get a traditional publishing house to pick you up later, who's gonna pick you up with this half-ass work? I wouldn't pick you up. I'm just being honest. People want to see that you have done the work. So no, maybe when you write your first book, you may not get picked up by a traditional publishing house. That's okay. Then you should self-publish. But make sure that it's something worth self-publishing, and make sure you put your all into it. I know that if for me, when I first started out versus where I'm heading, it's on two totally different levels. I am not playing with the game. I plan on showing my work and my work to be so good that people are going to seek me out. That's what you should do. Okay? So, number 4, not doing your research. I already talked about standards when it comes down to word count, page count, all of that stuff. But you should do your research when it comes down to all things publishing. When it comes down to pricing. If the type of book that you write is traditionally sold for about $7.99 to $9.99, stay there. Don't sell your book for $30. Why would you do that? That makes no sense. You can say, oh, I value myself that much and I have this much worth of information in it. That's cute and that's cool, but there are industry standards for a reason. Okay? So do your research. When it comes down to style, and when I mention style, I'm specifically talking about the way your book is set up, the page breaks, the fonts, the size of your font, like all of that kind of stuff. There are, again, industry standards for that. Don't put out a book with size 14 or 16 freaking font throughout the whole book just so you can reach that page count, and that's not industry standard. Google the industry standard. Find out what size your font needs to be. Find out what fonts are jarring on the eye so that you don't use them. Find out what fonts are standard. Like, it's not that difficult. You just need to do a quick little Google search and take some time. If you aren't going to hire someone, these are things that you should do. Now, of course, if you hire someone to do a service like what I do, this is the stuff that I do for my clients. But if you're not going to do that, then you're going to have to DIY. But don't let your DIY look like a DIY. So that's just, 4 things that I personally have issues with in the self-publishing world. Don't do it. Like, do yourself a service, hire somebody, care about the work that you put out, respect the craft, and just be like the best that you can be overall. So I hope these 4 things shed some light into like what you as a writer are getting ready to do. Or if you've already put out some stuff and you didn't do these things, like, it's okay. But the next time you put something out, put your best foot forward. If you like this video, thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. This will be a complete series, so I have more videos on writing and publishing coming out to you guys. All right, and if it's something that you specifically want me to speak about or to tell you guys, or a specific topic that you want more information on, definitely either send me an email or drop a comment in the comment box below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right. This is so awkward. I never do a video standing up, so yes. No, I'm just playing, but no. Okay, let me do this. All right, so I never do a video standing up. I hope I'm standing in like the right place. I should have put a piece of tape on the floor. But anyway, I'm back with a video. It's been a minute, and I know I keep making these promises that I don't deliver on, but trust me, it's for a good cause, because I've been working. But what I wanted to bring you guys is, I want to bring you guys, I guess, like a writing series. And so, all right, start over. Ugh.